I'm one of the supervisors here in the building, and I get the pleasure this morning of presiding over your naturalization ceremony. So it's always kind of fun when we get to do these ceremonies. There's some parts of the job that we have to do that we don't always like, but this is one of the parts of the job that I think you could ask anybody in the building. They really enjoy doing that. First of all, we know what it means for all of you to become citizens. We know the journey that you all took, so it's always kind of a pleasure to be here to see you over that finish line as you become citizens of the United States. Now, to go ahead and open up this ceremony, we're going to start off with our national anthem. So I'll ask that anybody that is wearing a hat, please remove your headgear, stand up, place your hand over your heart, and face the flag. The lyrics will be on the screen. This is a no judgment zone, so everybody is encouraged to sing along. I get real excited when I hear the loud voices. The computer will work.
By the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched, were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
So today we actually have 35 people that are here for their naturalization ceremony. It's supposed to be 36, but that's now. Now I'll tell you, before COVID, we used to have 50 people in this room at a time. And then during COVID, we actually had nobody in this room because we couldn't do ceremonies. And so there were a lot of people just like you that had been waiting for their time to come in and take their oath. And we had to call them on March 20th and say, hey, our office is closed, please don't come in. And so could you imagine getting that call? And then, of course, the first question everybody asked is, when will my ceremony be scheduled? And at that point, nobody knew what was going to happen. So we had to tell them, we'll let you know, but we don't know right now. And after the 2 weeks to slow the curve, we all came together and said, okay, how can we still give everybody this important benefit and keep everybody safe? So we came up with this great idea. We did drive-through naturalization ceremonies. So I know it sounds kind of crazy, but so what it looked like, we would actually meet you at the front of the parking lot as you were driving into our parking lot. And we had signs that were laminated. And basically, we would have you follow an escort, and they would bring your car over here, and we had 10 parking spots designated. And we would put you in your parking spot. In front of your car, there was a white table with a yellow bucket on it. And in that yellow bucket, the form that you guys had to fill out and get checked in was in there along with your certificate and this packet that you have. And we would basically hold up a sign, and we told you to keep your mask on and stay in your car. And then once we came by, we would tell you, go ahead and grab everything out of the bucket and bring it back to your car. And then we'd hold up a sign telling you to fill out that 445. And once that was done, we had a sign, and we told you to hold up the form to the car window so that we could review it. And then we would look at the form. If there was anything questionable on the form, we would step back 6 feet, have you roll down the window, and then talk to us through the window. Once all that was done, we'd have you put the form back in the bucket and take the packet with you. Once everybody was fully checked in, the person that was naturalizing would stand back at the back of the car, and we would swear them in, and then you would drive away as a citizen. And that was what a ceremony looked like for the summer of 2020. And then, of course, as we know, Colorado, the weather likes to change on us in the fall, and it got a little colder, and so luckily we were able to actually bring 15 people into this whole room. That's all we could fit in here was 15. And I think actually it might have started off as 12, and we slowly, then it went 15, then I think it went 18, and it went through various iterations. And then at one point, we actually got to the point where we could allow one guest and one person. And so the room was set up really strange because we had chairs all over the place to fit in 35 people. And now we're back to where we can have full crowd and full candidates, so that's nice. Now, obviously, not only did the room change and the way we did the ceremonies, but what we actually do in the ceremony. So obviously, the only reason that we're required to bring you back for your naturalization ceremony is the law requires that you take the oath of allegiance in a public setting. And that's why we bring you back. And so at one point when we had 15 people in here, it literally was, I checked you in, your certificate would already be in your packet. And once I checked you in, I would walk in here, I'd stand you up, I'd give you the oath of allegiance, and I'd ask you to get out of the building. And it was that quick because we really wanted to keep everybody safe. And so as things got better, we started to be able to add back certain things. And one of the things that I always added back was one of my favorite parts, and that is the call of countries. And I love the call of countries because it's a chance for us to recognize everybody that's going to become a citizen here in a few minutes one more time under their country of former nationality. And the thing I always like to do when we have the crowd, right, is I like to see who's going to represent the best for that country. And you'd always think that it's going to be whoever I got the most of in this crowd will be the loudest group over there, but that's not always true. I've had that one spouse sitting over there that's just so excited they make more noise than anybody. So we're going to test that in a minute. We'll see who's got the loudest supporters. But before we do that, now some of you that are on this side of the room today would not be here today without those people sitting on that side of the room. So let's go ahead and give them a big round of applause. Do we have any current active duty, retired, or reservist military members in the group? No? Okay. Do we have any? I saw a hand. Go ahead and stand up. Let's recognize you. First responders, doctors, nurses, EMTs, please stand up and be recognized. All right, so in a minute we're going to do that call of countries, but I just want to say that I want to thank each and every one of you for taking the time to become United States citizens. I know for each and every one of you, this journey's been a little bit different. I will tell you that some of you have been residents for as short as 3 years. And it's always kind of amazing because I can tell you sometimes we'll have somebody that's been a resident for 30, 40, 50 years. One person that always sticks with me, when I was an interviewing officer, I had an elderly lady, 87 years young, who came in for her interview. And usually when people come into the interview and they're very nervous, it's because one, they didn't study for the civics test, or two, they don't speak English. She spoke perfect English. And so I asked her why she was so nervous. And she looked at me and she said, well, I've waited 37 years to become a citizen, and you guys are going to punish me. And I was so saddened by that because that's not something that would ever happen in the United States. When you make a decision to become a citizen, that's a personal decision. Each and every one of you could have continued to live in the United States as permanent residents for the rest of your life. Obviously, you would not have had the right to vote, and you would not have a U.S. passport, but basically you could have continued with your life just the way it was, being a permanent resident. But each one of you made a personal decision to become a United States citizen, and so for that, I applaud each one of you, and I thank you for taking that personal step. And we're going to go ahead and recognize you all one more time under your country of former nationality. So when I call your country, what I want you to do is please stand up and be recognized one more time. We're going to see over here which group's going to be the loudest. So don't be shy. So the first one up, Afghanistan. There we go. Algeria. Bhutan. Bolivia. national anthem, or when the Faces of America was on, she was sitting there with the flag. Guatemala. India. That's good. Italy. Mexico. All right, somebody's gonna have to show Mexico up there. Nigeria. Pakistan. Philippines.
Yeah!
Philippines. Particularly considering we only have one over here. Russia. Serbia. Sierra Leone. Somalia. South Korea. Tajikistan. Venezuela. Sometimes you have fun. Vietnam. And last but not least, Zimbabwe. Yeah. Now I tell you, I normally feel bad because usually for some reason Vietnam ends up always being the last, but today we have Zimbabwe. Now if anybody wasn't keeping count, just to give you kind of an idea of the diversity that's represented in this room and in this country, that was 25 different countries representing 35 candidates for naturalization. So that's pretty astonishing. When you think of a crowd this small representing that many different countries, that's pretty amazing. And that kind of shows you the diversity that is the United States. Now, I tell you, it's always kind of funny, right? Because when you guys come in, everybody in this room that's on this side of the room has been through at least one interview. Now, some of you have been through 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 interviews, but each of you had at least one interview. And each of you had a different experience with that interview. Some of you may have had that officer that was that very rote. What's your name? What's your date of birth? And you're sitting there just scared to death. And some of you had those really nice officers that took their time to try to put you at ease and get you through the interview, right? But each of you have gone through that interview. And then you come here today, you're at the end of the journey, and you show up at the counter and you're still nervous. Some of you are dropping green cards, and unfortunately, because I have a very limited time to get 35 people checked in and seated, I don't have time to sit there and take a lot of time, so I probably make you a little more nervous. But now you're here, and I'll tell you what, in about a couple minutes, we're going to go ahead and do the oath of allegiance, and that will complete what you guys came here for. Of course, all of you are waiting for your certificates. You don't care about the oath, but you got to do the oath to get to the certificate. And then the other thing that's kind of funny too, right? You guys are walking away because I took all your green cards, and some of you had stacks of them, and I collect them all. I'm a collector. Everybody always jokes because I'll come up and I'll have 35 candidates for naturalization, but when I go to turn in all the green cards for destruction, I'll have like 70 of them, and they're like, what in the world? Because I collect them all. That's just to help you protect your identity. I make sure that you collect all those up. But as you guys are walking away, a lot of you are doing this, right? You've got the handout waiting for the green card to come back. And so I always have to tell you, no, we'll give you something better at the end of the ceremony. And I promise we will do that here in a few minutes after we take the oath. But the reason I tell you that, when I give you the certificate, a lot of times, I actually had a guy do that one time. He grabbed it and started running for the door, and I was like, no, come back here. He's like, I'm getting out of here before they take it back. We're not going to take it back, so don't run out of my door. And I'll say this a couple more times, but it's very important that once you guys get the certificates, that you take some extra time to review the certificate before you walk out of my building. I'll tell you, 2 weeks ago I had somebody, I didn't naturalize them, because I always make sure to stress this, but they showed back up, they got their certificate on a Friday, they showed back up on a Monday, and they're like, hey, my certificate says I'm a man, but I'm obviously a woman. And I was like, well, unfortunately, because you left the building and we close that ceremony, you're going to need to file an N-565. You're going to have to send back the certificate. It's going to take about a year for them to adjudicate that 565. And once they do, they will make a new certificate. And oh, by the way, if they determine that you made the error that causes to put mail on your certificate, they're going to make you pay for that application. And it's almost $600 application. But if you look at your certificate today and you catch that there's an error on it and you come and see me before you walk out of the building, I can take you back downstairs. It will take me 2 minutes at the most. I'll get you a new certificate printed and you can walk out with a perfect certificate. No aggravation, no new application, no new fees. Okay? So please take a minute to look at that certificate before you walk out. Now what I'm going to do, all of you have a white packet in front of you. Inside the white packet there is a card that contains the oath of allegiance. If you want to look for that, once you have it, please stand up. That way I'll know everybody's got the card. Family members, while they're doing that, if you want to move around the room and find the perfect spot to get your perfect picture, you are able to do that. Get closer to them, find them. Please just don't stand between me and the candidates for naturalization. You can move around while you're doing that. And then once I see that everybody has their cards, we'll go ahead and take the vote.
Oh, yeah.
All right. Pretty close up. Okay, so everybody's going to raise their right hand, and you are all going to repeat after me. I hereby declare on oath that I absolutely and entirely renounce and abjure all allegiance and fidelity to any foreign prince, potentate, state, or sovereignty, of whom or which I have heretofore been a subject or citizen, that I will support and defend the Constitution and the laws of the United States of America against all enemies, foreign and domestic, that I will bear true faith and allegiance to the same, that I will bear arms on behalf of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform non-combatant service in the armed forces of the United States when required by the law, that I will perform work of national importance under civilian direction when required by the law, and that I take this obligation freely without any mental reservation or purpose of evasion, so help me God. Congratulations, you are all United States citizens. Now, family members, I'm going to see how well you can execute this. I'm going to give you 2 minutes to go find your loved one, congratulate them, and then find your way back to your seat.
Okie doke, Pa. Sorry, Pa. It's over. Oh, it's not over yet. Well, you know what I mean.
Now that you're all United States citizens, we're actually going to have somebody come up here and, Marani, come on up. So Amarani's mother naturalized with each one of you just a few minutes ago. And so I always like to catch people and put them on the spot. And so I got her to agree to come up, and now that you're all United States citizens, she is going to lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance for the first time as United States citizens. So what we're going to do is go ahead and stand up again, remove our headgear, face the flag, place our hands over our heart, and then what Amarani's going to do, because it's kind of nerve-wracking being up here with everybody, so she's going to start, and we're just going to join in with her, and we're going to say the pledge with Amarani. So Amarani, when you're ready, go ahead.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Let's give her a big round of applause. All right. Now we have a special message for you from the President of the United States.
Welcome, my fellow Americans. First and foremost, I want to thank you for choosing us, believing that America is worthy of your aspirations. Every immigrant comes from America from different circumstances and for different reasons, but you all have one thing in common: courage. The courage it takes to sacrifice and make this journey. The courage to leave your home, your lives, your loved ones, and come to a nation that is more than just a place, but rather an idea. An idea that where everyone is created equal and deserves to be treated equal. The idea that we have as a nation, and we can define America in one word: possibilities. Possibilities since its founding. That very idea has been nurtured, enriched, and advanced by the contributions, sacrifices, and dreams of immigrants like you, and immigrants like my own ancestors from Ireland, like generations of our fellow Americans. And today, you've earned a new title equal to that of an American president. The title I'm most proud of: Citizen of the United States of America. I look forward to standing with you as you embrace your new rights and responsibilities, as you build your lives and legacies here, as generations have done before you in this great nation of immigrants. So welcome, my friends. Welcome, my fellow Americans. Welcome. May God bless you all, and may God bless the United States of America.
So in just a second, you are all going to get what you came here for today, your certificates. Now, when I give you the certificates, first of all, you're going to notice in the middle right there, there's a line that says signature of bearer. Now, and even though I'm saying this right now, somebody will come up after me and ask me, do I sign right here? Yes, you will sign it there, but I don't recommend you do it now. Some of you are still excited, nervous. When you get home tonight and you're relaxed, go ahead and take out a black pen and sign the certificate on that line. That will complete the certificate. Now, when you get the certificate, like I said, please take a minute and look it over. If anything's wrong, let me know and we can complete it. One thing you're going to notice when you're looking at the certificate, there is a raised seal that's over your photograph, okay? Do not laminate the certificate. If you do, that will invalidate the certificate. And as I said before, it requires you to file, if the certificate's invalid, it will require you to file an M565 to request a new certificate, and that's an almost $600 application. So that tells you how expensive this certificate actually is, okay? So do not invalidate your certificate. Now, once you sign the certificate, two things that we're going to recommend that you do with the certificate After 2 or 3 days, for our system to update and say that you're a citizen, you will want to go by Social Security and let them know that you are now a United States citizen. That way they will update their records. Now, some of you may be thinking, well, I don't need Social Security right now, I'll do it later. And then you forget about it, and then years later, you're going to go looking for the certificate, and you'll be like one of my very first customers when I first started working for this agency. And he came in after 20 or 30 years of being a United States citizen. He finally reached Social Security age, and he comes to the information counter, and he sees me, and he says, hey, I was just at Social Security, I don't have my certificate, and they told me to come back and see you. And I said, well, there's nothing I can do. You're going to have to file a Form N-565 and go ahead and wait about a year for us to adjudicate that, and then you'll get a new certificate. He didn't like my answer, so he asked to speak to my supervisor at the time. And we called Social Security, and they confirmed they would not accept anything less than the certificate. So ultimately, he had to file the N-565, and it delayed him getting his full Social Security benefits by probably more than a year. So please go ahead and take the time to update Social Security. In addition, some of you may have the older Social Security card that says valid for work with authorization from DHS only. Once you let them know that you are a United States citizen, they will give you a new Social Security card, same number, just a new card, and it will no longer say that. So that will keep you from needing, somebody asking you, where's your green card or your work authorization card? Once you've gotten Social Security notified, go ahead and make a couple black and white copies of the certificate just to have for your records, and go ahead and file for your passport if you're so inclined. Because you live in Denver, you have 2 options for the passport. First one, you've probably been to the post office and saw the line waiting to submit passport applications. Inside your white envelope, there is a passport application. You can fill that out, take 2 passport photos, your original certificate, and that application along with the appropriate fees. They will take those from you, they will mail them off to Washington, D.C. 13 to 14 weeks later, you will get back 2 packages. The first one will have your passport, the second one will have your certificate. Because you live in Denver, we do have a passport agency here in Denver. It's located in Aurora, right off of I-225 and Parker Road. It is an appointment office only. It's not related to us, the Department of State. But if you make an appointment there, you will deal with a human being, you will hand them your certificate, your application, and when you go back, they will hand you a passport and your certificate. And my understanding is the processing time is a little bit quicker. I know prior to COVID, it was 8 to 9 weeks. I don't know what it is now, because I haven't had them in our building in a while. Once you do that, then I recommend you go ahead and take the certificate, put it in a safe and secure location. Now, don't be like my guy that lost his certificate and put it in such a safe and secure location that you forget about it. What I recommend is you either put it in a safe deposit box, or you get a nice fireproof box and you lock it up. Now, I know my field office director, I've watched him do ceremonies, and he'll say, oh, you can frame it and put it on your wall. And I always look at people and say, well, would you frame your passport and put it on your wall? Or would you frame your driver's license and put it on your wall? No. This is an identity document. So if somebody was to break into your home, they see your certificate hanging on the wall and they're a good thief, they're probably going to take it so they can also steal your identity. And the reason I always recommend a fireproof box is I've worked for this agency long enough to have witnessed 2 major fires. The Black Forest fire several years ago, and then last year we had the Marshall fire. And after each of those fires, we get anywhere from 50 to 100 people showing up that lived in those areas that have now lost all of their immigration documents. Now, I know there was a gentleman that had a binder with all his. I'm sure he's going to have a bonfire with all of that, but I don't think you want to have a bonfire with your certificate of naturalization. So you'll definitely want to keep it safe. Now, for those of you that became citizens today, that have children that are under the age of 18, that are here in the United States as lawful permanent residents living in your legal and physical custody, when you took the oath of allegiance, they became citizens with you. You have 2 options for those children. When you apply for your U.S. passport, you can also apply for their U.S. passport, or you can also file a Form N-600. That's an application for a certificate of citizenship, and you can file that for them, and then they will get a certificate similar to yours, but instead of a certificate of naturalization, it will be a certificate of citizenship. Now that you're all citizens, you have earned a new right. You have the right to vote. Out in the lobby at the white table that some of you use, there are a couple of ladies standing there. They're here from Me Familia de Voto, and they're here to help you register to vote. Now, these people come here, they're volunteers. They don't get paid. They just want to make sure that each of you gets an opportunity to register to vote. So I always encourage you, since they're here, please take the time and stop by and see them. It'll take you a couple extra minutes. Register to vote. That way, next election, you won't be worried about, oh, I gotta go register to vote. It'll already be done, and that way it encourages them to keep coming to our building so that other people will have the opportunity to be registered to vote in the future. Now, I will tell you, I speak 2 languages, but as you guys heard, there's 26 different countries represented here. Sometimes when I'm reading these names from your certificates, it's difficult. I will do my best. But if I butcher your name, I'm going to apologize in advance. I ask if it sounds close, please come up and get your certificate, okay? So, Andrea Nicole Asplund Moscaso. Zanash Tesema Mashi. Zemu Yu. Elizabeth Ann Trenier Mott. Jess Crawford Borsowich. Stefania Tafoya. Hilda Elizabeth Randell Maye. Zara Amiri. Rogelio Arroyo Felix.
Thank you.
I heard her over there, so I knew she was there.
Soccer mom.
Oseyemi Eunice Fadase. Jinky Rose Nepomuceno Sorensen.
Yeah.
Milena Project. Elizabeth Para Gonzalez. Congratulations. And this is the mother of our lovely Pledge of Allegiance person. Soon Oak Park. Nasreen Paul. Vimal Parakatu Shalil. Ibrahim Sori Kante. Munira Ikromi. Deng Ho Yoon. Ruslan Abdusalamovich Shrinova. Na Kim T. No. Raul Ignacio Rodriguez Perez. Hakeem Gumadi. Nestor Anibal Hernandez Ochoa. Herna Maya Katka. Hernan Perez. Alistar Farai Sahondo. Fergie Fuller. Adonai Cuevas Lopez. Isa Afonecheva. Ismail Omar. Juyun Park. Andrea Celeste Morales Monzon. And Rod. Mahendra Talakar. Let's all one more round of We have one more video. Again, I'm going to ask each of you, please take those extra minutes before you leave my building today. Make sure those certificates are correct. Like I said, it takes me 2 minutes. I can get them correct for you, but I don't want any of you to have the aggravation afterwards. I do thank everybody for coming today. I hope everybody gets a chance this evening to go out and celebrate and enjoy that. I kind of think of this as you all have a second birthday now. You became United States citizens. So we'll watch this last video. and all of you for supporting them along this journey. Go out, celebrate, enjoy your day. Please make sure you look at the certificates, and please stop by and see our voter registration before you leave. And congratulations. Have a good day.
I'll wait for Rose to come over here. She's on my Facebook Live right now. So you're on Facebook Live right now.
Thank you so much.
Yay! Oh, Rosie!
You have Rose and Nepomuceno. You got your aunts. Let's see. Kevin's watching. Anything you want to say to anybody?
Of course, I walked out and forgot your gifts. We'll get together. We'll get
Thank you for
together
the
on that.
picture, Mom. Thank you so much. Yay, made it. I'm glad. Thank you. Love you, Mom.
I love you. Congratulations. We got you now. You can't go away. Get your mom out here.
I'll get this one. Thank you. Thank you, Dad.
Let's make darn sure that's all right. Your name and everything is
Yes, everything.
Guarantee she did.
All right, this one's from Jess. She says congratulations, and this one's from me.
Yours need to be a little harder, don't your sister?
It's ended.
No, they're still live. Do you want to say something to them?
Thank you so much, guys.
She's yours.
Let's take picture. You can use this.
Okay, we're going to end the live. Thank you for joining us for our ceremony. Love y'all.